it's really rewarding. It's really rewarding to see people, come up against a obstacle and work hard to get over that obstacle and then get on the other side. Physical therapy is a way to treat dysfunction, pain, stiffness, whatever somebody's complaining about. And it's a physical approach to that. So we're correcting movement to alleviate pain or dysfunction. Yeah, injuries, pain, chronic issues that people might have, or even a surgery or after an injury can be really difficult on people. So athletes, non-athletes, because of the nature of physical therapy and how we treat, which is multiple times a week, an hour at a time, we really get to know people and spend time with them. So it's not just in and out, here's some exercises. We get to really talk to people and hear about what they might be struggling with. So yeah, feeling like you have a mountain to climb to get back onto the field, or even just get back into whatever activity you like to do on the weekends with your friends. Sometimes that can be really difficult mentally and emotionally on people. So we have to be willing and able to help people through that as well.
As far as kids that have gotten injured, I think it's really important to keep them involved in the program and invested in the program, and keep them coming to practice every day so they can get treatment and get back on the field as fast as possible, and to retain those relationships with the players and the coaches and the training staff. We have a tremendous training staff here, led by Achilles Walker, who is an athlete advocate who really wants to see them do well and really accelerate the recovery and treatment. So keeping them involved and keeping them coming to practice and being involved in team activities as much as possible is critical to their physical recovery as well as their mental recovery. And it's one of the reasons why I'm so invested in the strength and conditioning program here. Obviously, I want to see our kids perform better, and I want to see them get stronger and win more games. Obviously, I'm a competitor, but a lot of it is for that injury prevention model. It's a stronger athlete is a safer athlete. They're less likely to get injured. And because I'm not in this business to see kids get injured, I want them to have a positive experience in sport, in whatever sport that they want to participate in, and keep them as injury-free as possible. Getting them to a point where they can trust their bodies the way they trusted it before, prior to the injury, is probably the last obstacle, but it's the biggest obstacle to getting them back to 100% and playing at full capacity.
Football, the first one was the end of my junior year. I went in to make a tackle on a quarterback, and I made it kind of at like a weird angle, and I ended up separating my AC joint in my shoulder, and it caused a lot of problems for me mentally at the beginning of this year. Like, when I first started lifting and everything, my numbers were down. Like, I wasn't able to lift as much as I was before. And then when I first started making contact and everything, I was really scared to make contact with it, because I was like, oh, what if it pops out again? Or what if I'm trying to do this lift and then I end up messing it up again, and then I can't play this season. So it was really hard to get through that mental barrier in order to play this year. Having Achilles there, Achilles is a big part. Whenever I get injured, he's always the first one there, obviously taking care of me, trying to figure out what's wrong with me, making sure I'm okay. And he always gives me good things, helps stretch out my injuries, or work it out, help build muscle again. He makes the process really easy for me, and he's always helped me out every time I've been injured. Honestly, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but there's for me, it's just kind of there's a moment, there'll be a play, a certain play where I'll hit my shoulder, or I'll step kind of weird with my leg, and I'll kind of think it's I'll be oh, normally that would hurt, but then I don't get any pain out of it, and to me that's kind of it's a big step, and I'm whoa, I wasn't able to do that before. I was kind of scared to do that, but it helps me realize it's not that bad, and I can really get through it. It's just, the main thing is really just the mental block.
my number one focus, and it will always be the athlete. And everyone goes, we got school. It isn't the school. It is my athlete. If I take care of my athlete, I take care of my school. If I take care of my athlete, I cover our district. If I take care of the athlete, I put parents at ease, I put the kid at ease. The athlete will always be my number one concern. And I can't work with people who don't see it that way. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I have all the answers. But if you tell me that the athlete isn't the number one most important thing, then what are we doing here? Because that's what we get paid to do. So yeah, the athlete is number one. People who don't play sports always, will say well, what's the big deal, right? No, it's huge. For a kid who's played, whether it be lacrosse or baseball or football or soccer, since they were 4 years old, and then they get hurt, part of their identity is tied to their sport. And so when they lose that, when they can't go to practice or they can't play in a game, that matters. That matters to them. And so being able to talk to it with my athlete, being able to have them have that outlet is huge. Not only that, if a kid needs someone besides me to talk to, because again, I'm not a therapist, that's not what I went to school for. We do have therapists here, right? And if a kid wants me to go with them to go see that therapist, I will. But that mental side is huge. That's why we have sports psychologists, you know what I mean? And it's hard for people who don't play sports to understand that. Getting hurt, sometimes people equate it to losing someone, And everyone goes, well, no one died. No, we're not saying that did. But they go through the same grieving process. They go through those same steps. Mad, bargaining, anger. Finally, we get to the point where you go, you know what? All right, fine, I'm hurt. It's okay. But the mental side is just as important. And for us not to address it or not to acknowledge it, we don't see the full athlete. There's more than to just an athlete than saying, hey, you play lacrosse, or hey, you play baseball. No, you have a mom, a dad, you have school, you have siblings, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it may be. You got a day. And sometimes my job is to sit and let that kid talk about it. Not to give him an answer or her an answer, but to kind of talk about it. And so the mental side, we can't just brush off. If I can handle it, I will. If not, that's when so that goes back to that collab thing. We reach out and say, hey, my kid needs to talk to someone, and we go from there.